Before I continue, I'll just give us a brief before I continue, I will just give a brief explanation on what the field of chemical engineering is about. So chemical engineering, chemical and process engineering is taking chemical and process engineering is taking raw materials that we have and making it into finished products. So for example, finished products such as laundry detergent would have been developed using the process of chemical and process engineering. So some of you may be wondering why I chose chemical engineering and what was the process that led up to that. So I will take you back to when I was at in upper six. At school, I was pursuing mathematics, chemistry, and physics. And I was still unsure. You know, some of you may be unsure of what you want to study, what degree you may want to do at university, and still even deciding if you want to go to university. So I was unsure, and I decided to seek advice. So I spoke to a student who was at university. He was studying engineering, and I was considering either studying the degree of physics or engineering. So I decided to speak to him to get some advice on what I should study. And after speaking to him, he helped me realize that chemical engineering would be the best choice for me because I like physics, and chemical engineering surprisingly has a lot of physics in it. So I decided to go with chemical engineering, and I decided also to pursue not only the Bachelor of Chemical and Process Engineering, but I also went on to do the Master of Science in Chemical Engineering. So what you may have to study, what subjects you may have to do to study chemical engineering will include mathematics, chemistry, and physics. Yeah, so different universities may have slightly different requirements, but generally it's physics, mathematics, and chemistry. So if you're considering what subjects to study at school, you can, and if you want to do chemical engineering later on, you can choose those subjects. Um, so how was the bachelor's and the master's for me? It was a lot of work, and you must be committed. You must be committed to the work. The bachelor's degree prepares you to do the master's degree, and the master's degree also helps you to prepare for if you want to further your studies to do the doctorate degree. So yes, it's a lot of work. The bachelor's, I spent 3 years doing the bachelor's degree, and then the master's degree I did it part-time. I worked full-time, and I did the master's degree part-time. And during my time doing the Doctor of Philosophy, I worked as a research assistant at UE. So the master's prepares you for the PhD. And when I was applying for the PhD, for those who may be considering maybe going on to doing your Doctor of Philosophy, you need to provide a thesis proposal. So even from doing your master's, you can decide, okay, what research am I interested in? Do I like, for example, my field is multi-phase flow. So you can decide, what research you may be interested in. So when you start your master's, you have an idea of what research you want to do when you go on to do the doctoral degree. So there's a little tip. So sometimes you may not realize you want to do the doctorate of philosophy later on, and you have to kind of start over the foundational work. So when you start your master's, it's a good idea if you already have at the back of your mind if you want to do the doctor of philosophy degree afterwards. So you may be wondering, what's about, finances? Like, how do I fund the degree? Are there scholarships and financial aid? The answer is yes. For example, for my Doctor of Philosophy, I applied to UE. I applied for the postgraduate scholarship, and I got through the scholarship. I was offered the scholarship. I would have been able to pursue 1 year study under the scholarship, and I would have had the opportunity to get a renewal of the scholarship for a second year. So yeah, so there are opportunities if you would like to opportunities for funding if you would like to pursue the degree. Also, there are opportunities for internships. So for example, during the July-August vacation, there are internships that companies offer. So for example, after your first year of the degree or after your second year after the degree, you can apply to do internships, for example, at various companies, oil and gas companies. Various companies offer internships during the July-August vacation. They usually open those applications around between January and March or April. So around that time, you can look for When you enter the university, you can look for the application. So when those will open, so that you know, okay, in July, August, I can look out and expect a call to be able to get the opportunity to work as an intern for one of the companies. So I encourage you to apply if you do decide to pursue the field of chemical engineering and you want to do an internship. Is really good. It's good experience. So so now I'll just give you a little idea of how working as a research assistant was for me, my past experiences as working as a research assistant. And I will give a little challenge afterwards. I will be giving 2 or 3 challenge questions. So I hope you'll pay attention, especially to this part. Yeah, it's easy questions, so don't worry. Yeah. Okay. So the field of chemical engineering is a wide field. And well, as I explained before, I decided to go into the area of academia and research. So as I do laboratory work, you'll be required to wear what we call PPE. So PPE is personal protective equipment. So that the lab coat is an example of personal protective equipment. So for example, if you want to go into the lab, you make sure you wear your lab coat, goggles, gloves. If you're dealing with hazardous chemicals, you have to ensure that you wear gloves. If the vapors or the gases that would be that would come out from the chemicals would be, if those gases are toxic, you'll have to go under the fume cupboard. There's something called a fume cupboard, where you put your hands underneath the fume hood and you would perform the experiments so that you wouldn't be inhaling the toxic gases. So those are precautions that you would take when you want to work in the lab. So as a research assistant, I would have had 2 major assignments. One of the major assignments would have been to supervise undergraduate students. So those students would have been, for example, year 1 or year 2 or year 3 students, final year students in the lab. So as research assistants, a normal lab session would look like this. You would have two lab sessions for them. There would be a pre-lab, and then there would be the actual lab session where the students actually conduct the experiment. So in the pre-lab session, we take the students to the lab, we give them a little introduction to the equipment, because it may be the first time they're seeing some of the equipment, such as the heat exchanger, for example. So we give them an introduction to the equipment. We do an experimental run with them so that they can see how you are to record the results. And then when they come in the next session, the following week, which will be the actual lab session, that is when they will perform the lab as a group. So there will be a group of about maybe 3 or 4 students, and as research assistants, we would grade them on their laboratory performance. We grade them also on their teamwork, so now we will grade them on their teamwork, and also at the end of it, they would submit a laboratory report where they will have about 1 or 2 weeks to submit the laboratory report, and we would grade them on that report. And we also give them feedback on the report as well, so that they can know what areas they need to improve on for the next lab. My other task that I was assigned was to produce research work. So for example, I would work with my supervisor and other students and other scientists to produce publications. So those publications would be in journals, local journals, or international journals. And it's a lot of work has to be presented, a lot of reading, and also a lot of experimental work. But it's a large task, but it's very, very rewarding. It's very rewarding. So don't be intimidated by the size of the task. It's a lot of work, just as cool as, but it's very rewarding in the end. So for example, if I want to produce a paper with my colleagues, we would look at various research papers. We would examine the research that was done before, and we do what we call a literature survey, which is basically a summary or a synopsis of the different research that has been done so far. And we would study their methods, what methodologies they use, and we can do one of 2 things. We can either repeat and see if we are able to gather the same conclusions that they were able to gather. If we can see if we can either prove or disprove their hypothesis, or we can also build on their research. So what work they did so far, we can use that as a foundation and build on that. And it's a great, producing publications is a great way to contribute to the field of science and technology and the engineering community. It's a good way to advance the knowledge that's already there so that people can continue to build on the knowledge and that there will be growth in that knowledge database. So, so for example, there are organizations such as the Institution of Chemical Engineers. So the Institution of Chemical Engineers, there are various organizations that you can join. One of them is the Institution of Chemical Engineers. There, with this institution, you can become you can pursue what is called chartership. So when you become a chartered engineer, it shows that you are very experienced and knowledgeable about that particular area in your field of chemical engineering. So if you're considering pursuing chemical engineer, there's the sky's the limit. There's going as far as chartership. There's pursuing the masters. There's pursuing the doctor of philosophy. There are a variety of things. Even after, there's something called the postdoctoral research, which is after you do the doctoral study, you can pursue postdoctoral study. So yes, so the sky's the limit. So know that there's a lot of hope in this field. You can keep going and keep studying and keep advancing and keep helping others, in the field and in other fields as well, because the chemical engineering field wouldn't stand alone. It would incorporate other fields as well. So with all the experience that you would gain as you continue in the field, it allows you to get a higher pay grade or a higher salary. So for example, the salary range for chemical engineers in the energy field, for example, can be around 1,500 US to 2,000 US per month. And the salary range becomes even higher with increasing knowledge and experience in the field. So the more experienced you are, or the more of an expert you are in the field, the higher the salary would be. So even now, learning the importance of just being committed and also teamwork, because when you go into these fields or any field in particular, any field for that matter, you need to work as a group. So it's important to even from now to learn to work as a group. So that's what I would advise. Even from now, you can prepare yourself for the world of work by learning how to work in a group, learning to assist each other and help each other achieve the goal of the group. So now I will give you all the little quiz. I will just start the screen share. It's just a little quiz on what I spoke about. So let me just start the screen share. Okay. It's just a fun challenge. Yeah, so you all could either type in the chat or you could unmute your mic and give me what you think the answers are for these questions. So I'll just wait for the screen share to start. Yeah. Okay. So challenge 1, what does PPE stand for?
PPE stands for personal protective equipment.
Okay, perfect. Good. Correct. Good. Okay, so challenge 2. Unscramble this word. Oops, I went too far. Let me scroll back up. Okay, unscramble the word. Yeah, any guesses so far? Yeah. I'll give you a few more seconds and then I'll give you the word. Yeah, so this word is laboratory. Yeah, so when you unscramble the word, you'll get the word laboratory. Yeah. Okay, and then the last challenge, so challenge 3 is, okay, so complete each word by filling in the blank. So the first set of each word is given. Yeah, I'll give you a hint for this one. So the first word is the lab. The lab something is an example of something, something, something. Any guesses? Yeah, so the answer for this one is the lab coat. Yeah, so the answer to this one is the lab coat is an example of personal protective equipment. Yeah, so that was just the little challenge there, just to, just to test your memory and what I shared so far. Yes. So you all have any questions or anything? Anything you would like to? Any questions on?
Did any chemicals explode when you were doing an experiment?
Luckily, no. Good thing. No, nothing exploded, thankfully. Good question, though. And if you're doing math, English, math, physics, and chemistry at school right now?
Yeah. I might do physics when I'm going to Form 2.
Okay, good. So you like the sciences? Okay, good. That's very good. Yeah, okay. So I see someone says they also. Okay, good. Very good. So yeah, what you all think you'll want to do? You all have any career choices in mind? Let's say engineering, or you want to teach, or you'll decide, you'll have any ideas what you want to do so far?
Yes, Miss. But I have to share a screen to show you what I'm gonna do.
What do you like to do?
I'd like to be an aeronautical engineer and a pilot.
Oh, very good. That is very good. That is very good. Very good. Okay, anyone else?
Second, please.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. I see the screen started sharing. Okay, good. Very good. That is very good. They're interested in space. Okay, good. Very good.
Can you guess who I would like to be when I grow up? Let me give you some clues. I'll have to be very healthy and in shape. Well, this one is pretty easy because I practice karate 3 times per week. I even almost became the youngest black belt in Purple Dragon, but then COVID-19 happened. I'll need over 1,000 hours of piloting and also learn to be comfortable for long hours in a very special uniform. And the best part of all, you will find me flying a lot without gravity because my career will take me way into space. Who am I? I'm an astronaut. My name is Alexandra Wilson. I always knew I wanted to be a pilot, but as I got older, I became fascinated with outer space. I would gaze longingly at the stars and swear that one day I would be an astronaut and an aeronautic engineer. I've watched all the documentaries with Neil Armstrong landing on the moon and dream of the day I would be able to launch a spaceship into outer space. I even met Sir Richard Branson on Necker Island and had a long discussion with him about it. This was 2 months before its Virgin Galactic took him into outer space. Although I am very impressed with his achievement, my idea of going into outer space involves me landing on exploring a planet that no one else has explored before. First, I thought since everyone else is so fascinated with Mars, I could focus on getting to Saturn. But I was very disappointed when my mom burst my bubble and explained to me that it was impossible since Saturn was made up on only gases. So I then had to figure out something else. Luckily, a documentary on YouTube about exoplanets caught my attention. That's it, I thought. An exoplanet is any planet beyond our solar system. Most of them orbit other stars. I know we have a long way to go before we can inhabit one of these because they are thousands of light years away. But this is my dream. When Sir Richard Branson came back from space, I was selected to present him with an award for his amazing venture.
Thank you very much.
And everyone in the Ministry I would like to present to you this plaque because you inspired everyone to dream big and never doubt that their dreams will never come true.
Oh, you're very. That's what must not.
And
Sorry.
I also heard you say that if your dream doesn't scare you, it is too small. Were you scared in outer space?
Well, look, first of all, your words are so beautiful, and you said them so beautifully. Thank you. And no, do you know, I wasn't scared. It was just it was just the most beautiful moment of my life, and I hope one day that you go to space too, and you can experience something like that.
And I want to land on an exoplanet and live on it forever.
You want to land on another planet and live on it forever, but this planet's quite nice.
I want to live on an exoplanet.
You want to live on an extra planet? Well,
Exo.
Oh, ESO.
Exo.
Oh, exoplanet. Do I know exoplanet? Where is exoplanet?
It's in another galaxy.
In another galaxy. Okay. Will you show it to me one day?
Okay.
All right. We'll go to exoplanet. That sounds good. How do you know about exoplanet? I thought it was a secret.
I learned about it in YouTube.
In school?
No, YouTube.
Oh, in YouTube. Ah. One day, we'll if your mum will let us, we'll go to exoplanet.
But there are a lot of exoplanets, and they are in different galaxies.
And which galaxy would you like to go to? Do you know?
No, I don't remember.
You're not sure. Well, we'll check out. We'll check out the next.
There are more than 3,000 exoplanets that are habitable.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, there will be many planets up there that are habitable. And you know, if you ever pick up a handful of sand and you let it go through your hands, you'll find that for every grain of sand on the Earth, there's a planet up there. I mean, it's just enormous amounts of planets, indescribably, so many. Well, look, thank you so much for all of you for meeting. Thank you.
Richard Branson can do it, so can I.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Alexander. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you everyone very much for your attention. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you all today. It was fun. I hope this was informative for you all as well. Thank you.
Ms. Edwards, on behalf of, good morning, on behalf of e-Biome and e-Biome services and students of the summer STEM camp, want to extend our deepest gratitude for your presentation, informative and very informative presentation. I know the students have benefited in terms of learning about your career and also knowing what possible opportunities are out there for them. So I want to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to present.
No problem. We look forward to working with you in the future. Okay, guys, so we will continue our career symposium. We now have a entomologist, that is Miss Latanya Ragbear. Forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. She is a research and projects coordinator at e-Biome Services. So could we give our presenter a round of applause, please, as she make her virtual appearance onto the platform. But she's already here.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone today?
We're doing okay.
So
I'm
I'm gonna get right into my presentation. Hold on. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
All right. So my name is Latanya Ragbear and I am an entomologist. So who is an entomologist? An entomologist, we're scientists who study insects. So we study the classification, the life cycle, the distribution, the physiology, the behavior, ecology, and the population dynamics of insects. Now, entomologists keeps the environment balanced. What does that mean? So when mommy or daddy or you see an insect in the garden, we don't try to get rid of the entire population of an insect. Example, a spider. You don't try to get rid of the entire population of a spider because the spider feed on flies, cockroaches, mosquitoes. If you get rid of the entire population of a spider, the environment become unbalanced, which means that you're gonna have an outgrowth of multiple species that are going to become pests. So who can tell me what these insects are?
The one on the right.
For a leaf bug, dragonfly.
Yeah. What is the other one?
I think it's a leaf bug because I think it's a cousin to the stick bug.
Perfect, it is. Who can tell me which one is this?
no, that's a butterfly and a caterpillar.
Exactly.
The caterpillar looks like a monarch caterpillar, and that looks like a common butterfly.
You guys are bright kids. You can tell me which one are these?
The second one is probably a dug beetle.
It is a beetle, but what kind of beetle?
It's a rhino beetle.
Yeah.
There's a difference between rhino beetle and stag beetle. Stag beetles, they are pincers or horizontal, while rhino beetles are only vertical.
Perfect. And the other one?
It's a praying mantis.
Perfect. All right. So how do you become an entomologist? How I became an entomologist, really, I wasn't like the astronaut just know. I was not sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. So when I started university, I had really no direction. And I ended up in science and technology, which I didn't really want to be in. And it was after I started doing course like pest ecology, parasitology, and entomology. It was when I fell in love with insects. I started my career. For my first job was at a hemp farm, the first ever hemp farm in Jamaica. We grew and extract the CBD oil from the hemp plant. And I learned a lot from the job. And through my research skills in college, I learned a lot. All right, so some of the highs and lows of my field is Sometimes your client would want to use chemical pesticides, and as an entomologist, I only believe in using biological pesticide or natural resources. As an entomologist, though, sometimes you have to do what the client wants and what they can afford. Another challenge is sometimes you will like a certain type of pesticide, or you would like to import a beneficial organism in Jamaica, but there is a lot of red tape. And it can take years to bring in a beneficial insect, or it can take weeks or months to import a specific pesticide that you would like, even though you might want it tomorrow. So while I was in college, one of the things that made me fall in love with insects is doing curation of insects. And this is an insect collection box. As you can see, the insect, or they were preserved, they were prepared and stored in this box. And then later you can take them out and do further studies with them.
But you have to kill them first.
Yeah, you have to kill them first, but not like knock them out with a stone or something.
No, they just expose them to lots of heat.
Or gases. All right, so one of the benefits of using biopesticide versus chemical pesticide. So when mommy and daddy is using vegan or chemical synthetic pesticide in the house, you can tell them no. One of the reasons is it is harmful to non-target species. So meaning that even though you might want to kill the cockroaches, you might be killing beneficial species that eat the cockroaches. It is a serious pollutant to the environment, and it is harmful to human beings. So you do not want to stay in the house while mommy and daddy spraying the vegan. Inhaling it can cause further health problems in the future. It can become relatively expensive because even spraying it in the field, in agriculture, you find that you now have to spend more money getting rid of pests that was created by spraying those type of pesticides in the first place. All right, and the pests eventually become resistant to the chemical pesticide as opposed to the biopesticide. While the biopesticide, they are friendly to non-target species, so they specifically target the species that you want to target and not the beneficial insects. They do not pollute. They are very friendly to humans and animals around, and they're relatively cheaper, some of them. And the pests never develop a resistance towards it. How do you become an entomologist? So you become an entomologist first by doing the sciences from high school, mostly biology or integrated biology or human biology. You then obtain a BSc in biology, in biological science degree. Then you move further by doing an MSc or MPhil in entomology or animal biology. And then you can go further by doing a PhD in entomology. In most cases, you do need a 1 to 3 year work experience. So you get in experience going on, what do you call that? Doing researches from the school stage. Those are counted as experiences. And in some states, if you're going to do it abroad, they do require you to do a board or certified entomology certificate. Some of the skills needed. So you do need writing and speaking skills. You do need critical thinking skills. You do need a good observation, problem solving skills. And you do need to be proficient in operating computer database and softwares. So these are some of the insects or some of the problems I had on my field while I was doing hemp. So these are aphids and caterpillars, and as you can see, they've infested the leaves, and this is the damage.
Why don't you just get some ladybugs to eat the aphids?
That is a good idea. And what do you call that? Getting ladybugs, what would you call that?
A
What kind of approach would you
pesticide?
call that? No, that's not the use of. So that is called biological control. So we use natural enemies to get rid of the pests. And ladybug is considered a natural enemy.
Yeah, they eat aphids for breakfast, lunch, and dinner as much as they can.
Yeah. And these are cucumber beetles. We were having a big problems with these. And these are the spotted cucumber beetles. You do have the striped cucumber beetles. And this is what they
spotted and striped?
So one have spots and the other one have stripes.
Are they poisonous?
No, they're not. But they can be poisonous to the plants.
So why don't you look up what's the natural predator, like get some birds or something? Or birds eat beetles.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes bringing those in Jamaica can be a problem, even though that's a wonderful idea. Sometimes it is very hard to import them into a country. So then we would have to look on different ways on how to get rid of them. This is their lace bugs, and you can see they feed on the bottom part of the leaves, and they leave these little mulches and dark spots on the leaves.
Why don't you put the plants in a greenhouse then so no bugs can get in?
We do. We have plants in greenhouses, we have them in nurseries, and we have them in the farm. Okay, and this is nematodes. These are
those are the nematodes?
Yeah, so you can't really see them with your naked eyes. These you'd have to cut them off and send them to a lab to know exactly what type of nematodes we're dealing with. But
there once was a nematode. Do you know there was a nematode just recently found and looks like it has been in the ice for 36,000 years?
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Scientists just recently found a nematode, and they predicted that it was in the ice for 36,000 years.
Wow. Nice.
That's before, I think, BC. I think that's before BC.
Interesting.
Or AD. Because nematodes can live in any environment.
They can. What are these?
That's caterpillar eggs, I think, or some kind of eggs.
Yes, they are. They're caterpillar eggs. All right, where can you work as an entomologist? You can work in pest control operations like me. You can work in the museums. You can work for the government, for private companies, in a lab, doing research, as a professor, at a zoo, as a forensic entomologist. You can assist the police in finding insects at crime scenes. You can become a consultant and do insecticide sales. You can work with the federal government, such as inspecting ports for foreign pests. And you can become a medical entomologist for disease control. So there's many different niche that you can get into. Sometimes you need to create your own niche. These are some of the scholarships available for science and technology at the University of the West Indies, Mona. So you have the UFUWI scholarship, you have the Asia King Rainforest Scholarship, you have the Jamaica National Building Society Scholarship, and the list goes on. Some of the requirements for applying for these scholarships, is based on the results in your CSEC and your CAPE, Unit 1 and 2. Some of them is based on the first year of the university exam, and your GPA has to be a 3.0 or more. And you must be registered in the Faculty of Science and Technology to get these scholarships. And I'm sure you want to know, what is the salary range when you're an entomologist? So in Jamaica, with only a bachelor's, you can get 1,500 to 2,000 US per month. If you do have a master's or a PhD, you can get 5,000 to 8,000 US dollars per month. Is there any questions?
No, miss.
And no one has any questions for me? Okay, well, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. For having me.
Hi, Latanya. Thank you so much for that presentation. It was very informative as usual. And, thank you for coming again. I know you presented last year at the camp. And I know the students would have learned a lot. I love the fact that you would have exposed them to the different opportunities and the places that they can actually work if it is that they're interested in the field of entomology.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
So I'm noticing that our next presenter is on, Dr. Romario Simpson. He would have also presented last year. He's a medical doctor. So campus, make him feel welcome.
All right, morning everyone. You guys hearing me?
Sure, Mr. Simpson.
And you're seeing the screen, all right? It's moving, right?
Yes, yes it is.
All right, thank you. All right, morning everyone. Thank you, Lenny.
Mr. Simpson?
Yes?
Oh, your audio went out a little bit ago. I'm hearing you now. You can continue.
Oh, yeah, the internet. All right, so I was just thanking Anika and the team at e-Biome for inviting me again, just to, give like an introduction to the students of what it's like being in the field as a medical doctor, as part of the STEM field in general. All right, so I'm Dr. Simpson. I am employed at the University Hospital of the West Indies. I rotate mainly through ICU and internal medicine. So like this whole COVID thing, that falls a lot on me as well. I actually work on COVID wards. It's not looking good any at all. All right, so just brief reasons for my career choice, why I decided to become a medical doctor. I mean, most of these would sound cliche. Of course, you're coming in to help people. Some would tell you directly to make money. Some would say for the influence. Well, all of those are true for me and true for many other persons. So helping others in an incredible way, doctors are trusted. When patients come to you with people come to you with different sickness, ailments, they come to you with the hope that you're going to restore them to as close as full health as they were before. So you are definitely making a difference in their life when you can write a simple prescription to treat like a flu, you write antibiotic and it helps treat them. You're definitely helping them in a significant way. Also, the field of medicine is fascinating, never a dull moment. It's so wide and varied in different specialties. It can be in cardiology, it can be a cardiothoracic. And even though what you study in the books over the years, you think the patients are going to present that way with the exact symptoms. Some of them present very unusual, and it turns out that they did in fact have a condition. So that always keeps you on your guard, learning new things, learning how patients present. Of course, you're in a position of influence, respect, trust, and honor. Doctors are, I mean to brag, but I think we are the cream of the crop in terms of any society. When when you ask mommy or daddy what you want child to be, the first thing doctor, then lawyer, nurse, teacher. So, and that's because it is a highly respected field. It has waned a bit over the years, but still a lot of persons respect the doctors and trust them, right? Because if you don't trust the person, you're not going to tell them very sensitive information for them to treat you. Another reason is the job stability and opportunities. There's some debate about this, especially last month in terms of, in general, the fee. As I said, the field is very wide. You can super specialize in multiple areas. So that's where I think most persons need to hone in on their skills, and definitely wouldn't have such of a problem in terms of job availability. But nonetheless, it's not just in Jamaica, all over the world, this is a problem these days. But as I said, if the more specialized you are, the more guaranteed you are of a job. And of course, I alluded to this earlier, never a dull moment, always have to be on your guard, have to be on your feet, think of creative ways, think outside the box as to how you're going to treat the patient. So those are several reasons. In terms of becoming a doctor, there are different ways in which one can become a doctor. I'll just start with this little proverb, Chinese proverb. It says there are many paths to the top of a mountain, but there's only one summit where the view is the same. So meaning that there are different routes. Some people get into medical school directly out of sixth form, while others usually might have to do 1 year over another faculty, science and technology, and then a transfer either. But nonetheless, if that is what you want to be and you work hard for it, you can become a doctor. In terms of the requirements, of course, these are broken down into two main areas. You have the academical requirements as well as non-academical. In terms of academics, I heard a previous speaker alluded to this. The same is true for medicine.